All right, welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday. Dr. Stacy Hollegger here. I am so excited you guys decided to join us tonight. So in my second week of working with doctors, I have the amazing Dr. Stan Gravely here, and I'm going to read his bio and share his before and after picture from the get-go, which is going to be mind-blowing to you. But before I do that, I do want to share our disclaimer. So the information that we are sharing tonight about Lifewave, its patches, the technology, is for informational purposes only. If you have any questions regarding your health, medicines, or what's going on with you, please check with your healthcare practitioner or your doctor. And of course, if you're pregnant or nursing, check with your doctor as well too. We are not here to treat, diagnose, or cure anything at all. And the information that's going to be shared will be from our clinical studies. And so you're going to hear all about that, but the information will not be in regards to any diseases. So if you do have questions you want to ask, Dr. Stan and I will be answering those around 8:30-ish to 9. And they will be, make sure you ask your questions in regards to the symptoms that you're experiencing, kind of like your grocery list of problems. So with that being said, let me go ahead and read Dr. Stan's bio. I'm so excited for you guys. I'm going to screen share real quick here too, so you can see his picture. It's just mind-blowingly amazing with what's been going on. Dr. Stan, how long have you been using the patches?
Over 18 months now.
Okay.
Yeah, over 18 months.
Over 18 months. So what does it look like to see results over an 18-month period of time? Let's look. Now, Dr. Stan, this was in Aruba back in April, right? When this was taken when, Dr. Stan?
This
Last
was
May?
last May, the very first event we went to at the house, the beach house.
Yes, the very first leadership retreat you and Jody earned. This is a beautiful bride of how many years, Dr. Stan?
We've been together 44 years.
44 years. This was last May when you both promoted to senior director, which of course now you are a presidential director with Lifewave. But look at this, you guys. This is a year ago. This is not quite a year later. Actually, this is 11 months later. Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Wow. And you're looking at Dr. Stan now. I have these pictures, obviously. We can definitely share those with you. The other one that I have is just this one here. This was taken just here recently as well, too. And of course, this is Dr. Stan in his coat right now. But this is him now. And again, that's a year ago, you guys. Do you have a, Dr. Stan, I know you have a picture of, gosh, I just saw it on my timeline too, from your like before, during, oh my gosh, I'm going to pull it up while you're talking. And I'm going to screen share.
Yeah, it starts from when I was in my 50s and then.
Yes. Oh, that picture's incredible.
It's a big, huge difference. No doubt.
So let me give you the deets on Dr. Stan here, okay? So Dr. Stan is a life science practitioner, master herbalist who is trained from several Bible colleges and earned 2 Bible diplomas, a Bachelor of Theology, a master's, and a PhD in counseling. Dr. Stan is also a certified human behavior consultant and a certified vitalist in natural healing from Hallelujah Acres health minister and a certified life practitioner. And he is married to his beautiful bride, Jody. And you have how many children, Dr. Stan?
Well, we have 3 children, 5 grandchildren.
Fantastic. So I'm so excited you decided to join me tonight. You know, when we had our event last month in Tampa, you were on the doctors panel as well, and I interviewed you. So you got to share some of your knowledge and expertise about specific questions that people in our audience had. But tonight we're going to talk about the actual science and technology behind Lifewave's X39. So how this patch works. Everyone wants to know, how is it possible that this little round Band-Aid thing, what does it do? What is going on here, Dr. Stan?
Well, it's an amazing technology. You know, we like to call it wearable technology because we just take the patch and it peels just like a Band-Aid would, and you can put it on the back of your neck. below your belly button. There's other places you can place the patches, but those are the two that we did the clinical studies with that you can get great results with. But the patch was invented by, of course, David Smith, who's an inventor and a scientist with over 100 patents, but 70, Dr. Stacy, being in the field of regenerative science and technology, which is stems all around, not anti-aging, but reverse aging with the X39 patch that I'm holding here in my hand right now. The technology is simple, but it's amazing. He discovered under the microscope and studying the human body, basically all this light energy, heat energy, far infrared energy that emanates from our body 24 hours a day, as long as we're alive. We are a bioelectrical system of energy. And a lot of people don't realize that because we don't see it every day, but we do know if you got on a pair of night vision goggles and you went out at night, you could see animals, you can see people, because the outline of their body will be glowing with all this wonderful energy. Well, this energy is just like sun energy. It's infrared energy that just emanates from our body, just like the sun shines down on the earth, energizes us. We're energized and we can give off energy ourselves. And what David discovered was that those light waves, infrared light waves, the heat, the light, and the energy could be activated by this patch by reflecting it back into the body to trigger certain biological functions, but particularly with the X39, we know that we are triggering the copper peptide, the GHK copper peptide, that is the holy grail of anti-aging. If you go look at all the different anti-aging lotions and potions and the research, just Google it, and you will find that this is the holy grail of reverse aging and helping people. Well, what he discovered through reflecting this light back into the body, just like the sun triggers vitamin D production and many other biological functions in the body, we're just harnessing that same type of energy, infrared energy, reflect it back into the body. And just like the sun triggers those biological functions, we can now, through this technology, get it to reflect our energy, light, heat back into the body, and it will trigger those copper peptides, which automatically turns on stem cell activity in the body. And a lot of people say, well, how does it do that? Well, it's just a simple crystal lattice that was imprinted on the inside of the patch. And when you get it close to the body, it automatically starts to reflect that light, heat, infrared energy right back into the body. And it's just a few little simple salts and amino acids and waters and sugars. It's non-transdermal. Nothing is going into the body except your own light. So you don't have to worry about, well, is that going to cause me sugar? It's going to cause my blood sugar spike. No, nothing is going back into the body but your own light energy. And so our inventor created a form of what we call photobiomodulation. Photomodulation, Dr. Stacy's been around. The Egyptians were playing around with it. The Greeks were playing around with it. They were taking light, passing it through like red and blue glass and putting it on the body. And of course, today, which is interesting with this tech, with photomodulation and infrared, you see it everywhere today. There's over 5,000 studies, Dr. Stacy, that have been used to document the benefit of particularly of infrared light energy, which is why you see it everywhere in doctors' offices. They're using it for skincare. Well, we've just learned how to use a wearable technology to trigger our own stem cell activity. And let me just go on a little bit about stem cells, if you will allow me, Dr. Stacy, yes, because this is what I'm really excited about, is that stem cells are the only cells in the body that have the ability to replace other cells and systems of the body. That, you know, when they get damaged, hurt, stressed, oxidized, all kinds of things happen inside the body. which can cause our stem cells to diminish, not our stem cells, but our regular cells and our stem cells to diminish and die off. But stem cells are what provide the body with new cells to allow the body to rejuvenate and stay youthful. And of course, there's a lot of study. I mean, if you go to the medical journals, everybody's trying to learn about stem cells now. The medical community has discovered a lot of exciting benefits of stem cell therapy, but Dr. Stacy, they have not created a way to safely and affordably do so. But we discovered the solution with a scientific breakthrough in stem cell technology through this stem cell X39 activation patch that activates that copper peptide, which tells those stem cells, stand attention, get back to working. And this is so important because we know by the time we're 30 something, our stem cell activity has been diminished to right around 50%, give or take, depending on lifestyle, because we do know lifestyle affects how we age. Some people age faster than others. If you smoke and drink and eat junk food, you're going to age faster than some of these health nuts out here, you know, that take care of their body and exercise and drink their water every day. But the stem cells, you think of it this way, every cell in your body was once a stem cell. And if you let that soak in a minute, that means that if your stem cells are not reproducing, then that's when you start aging. Things start to fall apart. We know this, you know, when we're kids, we're young, we get hurt, we get bruised, we fall down, we get up, we just keep rocking and rolling. And then all of a sudden around 30, all of a sudden that begins to slow down. And we see this particularly in athletes. A great example is once athletes start getting to 35 to 40, they call them old for their sport. And it's because now, if you look at a person like LeBron James is in his 40s now, he's getting hurt more. He can't recuperate as fast. He can only play 2 quarters instead of 4 quarters because his stem cell activity is not able to strengthen and replicate and duplicate those cells. And then the sad news is then by the time we're 60, you know, we're getting to where we're producing almost zero, depending again of our lifestyle. And then by the time we're 70, for sure, most people are producing zippo, zero. And then you start seeing people die the average person's going to die between 70 and 80 years old. Except people who the longevity studies have shown have healthy stem cell activity in their body, and they seem to rejuvenate, stay active, because those stem cells are keeping them young. You know, it's keeping them active. It's keeping them in a youthful state. In fact, when we start stimulating this energy, it even gets down into the cellular level, and our mitochondria produces this ATP, I call it the batteries. We recharge our batteries with this technology, and we begin to not only repair and rejuvenate, but we start to repair and restore our DNA, which is also very, very, very important. If you want to stay young, you got to preserve those telomeres. You got to make sure that every cell in your body is doing it. And so it's pretty exciting technology because we found a way to just simply put a wearable patch on the body, reflect your own body's natural light heat energy back into the body to trigger, and with the X39 particularly, this GHK copper peptide, the holy grail of anti-aging, but as our founder says, it's the holy grail of reverse aging. And that's what we are doing with people, you know, with the benefits of wearing the patch every day. You put it on 12 hours, Dr. Stacy, and then you take it off and give your body a rest for 12 hours. So it's on 12, off 12, on 12, off 12. It's just that simple. Anybody can do it. This is not rocket science, you know, to be able to take advantage of this technology. And then your genes will begin. We've had studies. Gosh, Dr. Stacy, it's so exciting to know that the patch can begin to reset 3,000 to 4,000 genes in 24 hours to a younger, healthier state because of this technology. After 6 weeks, there's been studies. That's what I love about the technology too. Dr. Stacy, it's not snake oil. This is true science. We have over 70 clinical studies, blind placebo. We it would meet the FDA standards. Now, are we FDA approved? Absolutely not. We're not a drug. We don't want to be approved, but we would pass all the clinical trials of any study that anybody does. So it's scientifically, clinically proven to do exactly what it says that we do. And an exciting study for me, because, at 65, people, Dr. Stacy, sometimes start getting those brain farts, as they're called sometimes. They walk into the room and they lose their thought of train. What did I go into this room for? Well, this is X39 has been shown within 6 weeks to balance the brain, and on this brain mapping technology has been shown to help with symptoms such as memory loss, depression, anxiety, sleep, and so much, much more. And after 6 weeks, the cardiovascular system has been clinically shown that people will start, their cardiovascular system will start to act 2 years younger, which is what happened for me personally, because it's amazing how when you get on the technology, things can start happening fast, and sometimes they can take time, because we didn't get to at 65, I didn't get to some of my health challenges there overnight. It took years and years and years. And so you have to be patient with the process. But do some people get immediate results? Yes. But it doesn't mean that if it takes you longer that it's not working. We can guarantee you it's working. We can show you the science for doing that. But normally, like with me and Jody, my wife, we noticed within just a week we were sleeping better. I wasn't snoring as much, which really made good for Jody. And she had carpal tunnel and some arthritis, and her hands started getting better. In fact, she used to wear copper mitts to bed. And after, a couple of weeks, she wasn't wearing the mitts. I wasn't snoring. That made our bed life a whole lot better. And it was good. That was one of the first things. But then I noticed in the afternoon, Dr. Stacy, I was starting to have more energy. I was starting to feel like, sometimes in the afternoon, you need that little siesta to kind of recharge. And there's nothing wrong with an afternoon nap. It's been clinically proven a siesta can really help you. But I wasn't needing the siestas anymore. I was back to feeling like a teenager, because I was feeling energetic. Well, after 3 weeks, Jody and I were just amazed because our hands were getting better. At that time, they were probably 80 to 90% better. And we were both sleeping better. We were both having more energy. But the huge thing that happened for me, while we're talking about the cardiovascular system with the testing that we have done, I had to the beach. This is my second trip to the beach. And we just keep moving to beaches. It might be our calling. I don't know. It's a good place to live. But when we lived at the beach the first time, we were partying, having a good time, going out to eat, business partners, family, friends. Everybody comes and sees you. And what do they want to do? They want to go out to eat. They want to go to the, go to the places where everybody's having fun. We have inside scoops to get free tickets to concerts. So it was fun, but I gained a bunch of weight. And long story short, I was starting to develop my metabolic syndrome across the board, and I knew why. And I just told the doctor, give me 6 months. So at 6 months, we basically were able to get all my numbers under control. That was the time I was challenged. Jody and I were challenged to do that crazy bodybuilding contest. And anyway, we were in good shape, but my blood pressure stayed in the yellow zone. It was in the red zone, but now it was in the yellow zone. And so when we started patching, after 3 weeks, I sat down, took my blood pressure, and it had dropped 30 points. That's huge, Dr. Stacy. I can't say that, our technology would necessarily do that for you. But for me, the only thing I changed was patching with the X39. And of course, I did a couple of the support patches that we can talk about. Yeah. But again, the main patch is the X39. And then as the weeks and months started going by, Jody looked over at me and she said, "Have you been dyeing your hair?" And I said, "No, I've always dyed my sideburns a little bit because they were always white and didn't match up. And my hair was getting darker." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is pretty awesome." And then I started noticing my pants were loose. I hadn't lost any weight, but I dropped the pant size. Just nothing changed. I mean, other than just patching. And then, of course, over a period of time, at about the 12-month point, I just kept working out, doing the things I knew that I should to do. And then all of a sudden, at the right around, I would say, the 12-month to 16-month period, I had lost about 10 pounds in the first year. I dropped 20 pounds in those next months. And I went, basically, I lost 30 pounds. So my blood pressure dropped 30 points. I lost 30 pounds. My hair started getting darker. And then my clothes started feeling looser. I started getting my old abs back that I used to have, when I was doing the competition. Went to the doctor. My eyes, I noticed my eyes were better. I was getting ready to have to jump up to the next prescription. And now they're back to where they are now with the regular prescription. And of course, when I did the blood work, everything was great with the blood work, but my testosterone had jumped 200 points.
Whoa.
And Jody will attest to that. We're like teenagers over here now. We're 65, but we're acting like we're teenagers. Maybe that's too much information, but hey, that's what life is about, is having that youthfulness, to where we're looking good and feeling good inside and out, while adding years to our life and life to our years. And that's always been a mission of mine. So when we found these crazy patches, it was just like, let's give it a try. And of course, now over 18 months later, we're reverse aging. And you can tell by the pictures don't lie, the doctors don't lie.
I'm going to share it again, Dr. Stan. Jody sent me another one, so I want you to keep talking because they want to know what patches you're on.
Okay, yeah, that's a good example of from September 2021 to 2023, which is the blue jacket. What I'm wearing now is more recent. When we first got into Lifewave, our first conference, that was August of 2022.
Right here in the middle.
And so now we're almost 2 years into it. And again, this is what the compounding effect of staying on the patches consistently, persistently, stay on it, because with time, it compounds, and your more stem cells are going to start repairing all across the body. And the stem cells are smart. They're going to go to the places, where there is the most inflammation, where there's the most trouble. And it might be repairing things you don't even know about or can't see, but it's doing their work. And then sooner or later, it will get to your skin. Sooner or later, it's going to get to, eliminating a lot of the inflammation out of the body, which is why, I do recommend when people are patching to combine it with what we call the Aeon patch, Aeon, however you want to pronounce it. Why age is the beginning of it. It's an anti-inflammatory patch. It reduces stress and inflammation in the body, and it increases antioxidant production. But we like to call this the gentle giant of repair, the lavender patch, as some people call it, the gentle giant patch, the happy patch, because it takes inflammation out of the body. And when you start repairing stem cells and getting inflammation out of the body, that's why you start getting pain relief. Reduced inflammation takes away pain, takes away the puffiness. In fact, most of your sickness and disease in the body is contained in the inflammation, but particularly in the fat cells. And when you start getting inflammation out of the fat cells, you lose weight. It's just that simple. A lot of times it's not, you may have an eating problem, but you may just have an inflammation problem. And you start getting that. That's why you get more energy, vitality, better hair quality, rapid wound healing, better mental clarity, better sports performance. I find myself, I've upped my weights. I find myself having to do more weights now because I'm stronger and I'm more energetic. In fact, I've extended my morning routines another 10, 15 minutes because I'm doing more, because I can do more, want to do more, and I recover faster from it all. And there's so much more we could share, but there's just one more patch I do want to share with that I really think everybody should be on, is the glutathione patch. These three patches right here, to me, is what everybody should wear every day. I would wear all of them if I were you. If it's me, we'll have at least 5 to 10 on a day. The glutathione is the patch that triggers the production of the master antioxidant, glutathione. That's why the patch is named after that. And so glutathione is the master antioxidant, not only because it is a powerful antioxidant, but it also supports the other antioxidants in the body, the immune system, and it protects the bodies from free radicals, the invaders, oxidative stress. And our glutathione patch has been clinically proven to increase glutathione by 300% in 24 hours. That is just ridiculously amazing, off the chart numbers. You cannot do that intravenously. You can't do it orally at all. It has a very short lifespan. It can help you, but hey, glutathione. And Dr. Stacy, another nice little tidbit about glutathione. People who live to be 100 and beyond, guess what is high in their blood work? Glutathione. And so I always tell people, if you want to make sure, call it the triple threat, call it the triple treat, whatever you want to call it, these three patches here is going to run aging out of your body. And as I believe, every sickness or disease is due to aging, because if you're not repairing, you're aging. And the systems that are aging the fastest are the ones that are going to start pinging, dinging, and giving you problems. And that's just the way, kind of health works. Every sickness and disease is an aging disease ultimately, because when we're young and we're healthy, our stem cells are healthy, our hormonal system's healthy, glutathione levels are good, inflammation, we're recovering, but then we start to age. And as we discussed earlier, every increment of age, we start to suffer. So with this exciting technology, we have just discovered a simple, affordable, effective, clinically proven, scientifically proven product that can turn back the clock of time, Dr. Stacy, and help people to get back their life, their vitality, their energy, their health. Because as we've heard all of our life, you don't know how valuable health is until you what? Lose it. Boy, then when you lose it. But the good thing is, with this technology, we can use the body's own natural energy to heal itself. These patches couldn't heal a hill of beans. But if the technology, though, will enable your body to heal itself, which to me is the magic of what we are doing. And it's no drugs. There's nothing that's going into the body. It's safe, natural, and more importantly, it's affordable. Because basically, if you're going out and getting a cup of coffee every day at Starbucks or eating a Happy Meal or something like that, we didn't really happy, you shouldn't be doing that. You could be saving your life with these patches, Dr. Stacy.
That is so true. Wow. Dr. Stan, number one, thank you for taking the time to share your personal experience, testimonial, and knowledge on this technology. Thank you for allowing us to share your before and after pictures. I will put them on or Jody can do it now. The Team Evolve, we have a before and after picture channel if you don't care, Dr. Stan. Because I know everybody, I think the camera is up and I'm like, nah, we'll just give you the picture.
Just take the picture, use it if you can use it to help someone, or get somebody to say, hey, and if you need to send them to me and just say, is this really you? Yes. And all they got to do is go to my Facebook page and go back through those years.
Yeah.
And it's my life has been documented on Facebook. So there's no, snake oil involved here or taking the photographs and photoshopping them and everything.
No, that's
like
really
that.
you. I've known you on all those journeys there. So I can attest as well too to what you look like before you started using the patches. And it's a transformation, it's a process. And I love that you got to see what the outside of Dr. Stan looks like, but you also got to hear what's happened on the inside. And we know aging is an inside process. So by being able to repair and regenerate his cells and tissues and organs, systems in his body, like he mentioned, of course, especially with reducing inflammation, his body went to work to reverse his age, right? And he's still reverse aging, younger and younger every single time I see you on Zoom. So Dr. Stan, some people have questions. And question is going to be, I think, going to be pretty common. Someone was asking specifically about time frame on their issue of like torn ligaments and whatnot. But I want you to discuss briefly on what would be someone's expectation on time frame for their body to repair. Is there a way to determine that? Or what would you say would be just a general rule of thumb based on your age? How long would you wear the patches? And then what would you wear if you had a torn tendon or ligament, something like that? What patches would you use?
Well, we always recommend for people to always start out with X39 and Eon, because that's going to be the key to healing and signaling your body to produce the stem cells, getting inflammation out of the body so the body can repair and heal itself. A little inflammation is good. That's what the body, it's a way of sending, blood and the rescue cells there to do repair. But if it gets over-inflamed, then it becomes infected. And then the next thing you know, and so time-wise, it's going to be a lot yes, it's going to be age. If we put the patch on a child or a teenager or a 20-year-old, because they already have a fairly good stem cell pool in their body, they're gonna get well faster, 30, 40. So you can always expect the older you are, it can take a little bit longer than a 30, 40, or 50-year-old. That's just the way life is. But you can get to the point where I feel like I'm at the point where I can heal as fast as a 30-year-old at this point in my life because of the compounding effect of it. Because some people say, well, how long should I continue to use the patches? As you should continue as long as you don't want to age. If you want to start aging again, stop using the patches. Then you'll just pick up right there where you are. All the work the patches will have done will remain there, but you'll start aging again. And so it takes time. And of course, the sicker the person, the more severe the injury, common sense is going to tell you it's going to take more time. Or if it's been something you've had all your life, a lot of people, will say, you got to be on the patches, much longer than you can't expect 2 or 3 weeks or 6 months, to fix something that's been there your whole life. Give it a chance and let it heal and repair and restore.
Yeah, that's so true. A lot of times people want it now, right? They've been suffering for a long time. They've tried everything under the sun and they're like, okay, this is it, right? This is it. And it should happen in the next 2 days or 2 weeks, or maybe even 2 months. And we're like, let's be realistic. Repair and regeneration takes time. And I love that we know that this is not a stem cell injection. This is not my shoulder's messed up. I need surgery. I'm trying to avoid it. So I'm going to go drop 10 grand or 20 grand or 30 grand for a stem cell injection to hope to repair this area right here. Your body has its own innate ability to know how to heal itself, right? And so when you activate its own stem cells, your body's stem cells decide where they go first. We cannot direct them. And so you may say, I need these ligaments fixed right now. And your body says, I'm sorry, your liver's shot. Okay, so we're going to go there. Put down the wine, right? It's not just wine. It's toxins. It's toxins from everything that your liver is trying to sort through. And so we have to be patient with that process. And that's why we use the supportive patches to be able to help support the systems and the organs and the tissues and the cells in the body. So I love that you brought that up as well too. I have a lot of people asking about their blood sugar. So we know we can't talk about a specific disease, but if you were to have a blood sugar number that was elevated, Dr. Saint, can you tell us, obviously from a master herbalist nutritionist point of view, what would be some great things to eat or not eat if you have blood sugar issues? And then what patches would you recommend for that as well too?
Right. Well, obviously, blood sugar issues or pancreas issues, your insulin. And if you're eating refined carbohydrates, refined sugar, fried foods, junk foods, and drinking sugary drinks, sugary juices, what you're doing is you're causing your pancreas to have to work all the time. Because people will get up in the morning if they're eating, bagels and donuts and drinking coffee with a bunch of sugar in it. Now the body is having to deal with all this refined sugar in the body. So you got to clean up your diet. I mean, obviously, a lot of people want the magic bullet. And the only thing you can do if you get type 2 diabetes, if you've worn it out, and then you go to the doctor and they have to give you insulin. So that's what you want to not go to. So getting off, the most important thing you can do is get off all refined processed foods. Eat foods in their natural state. Sugar's not your enemy. Refined sugar is your enemy. If you eat blueberries and strawberries and raspberries in their whole food state, they're low glycemic, they're low digesting, and the sugars go in and nourish your body. You don't get the sugar spikes. When you're eating fruits and vegetables, the same thing. Eat vegetables as close to the way that Mother Nature made them. Once they get refined and you add all the junk to it, and it's not going to be good for you. In the same way with meats and dairies, I tell people if you're going to eat, meat and dairy and things like that, eat it in its original form. It's been proven. I've studied some other longevity studies, people that eat, eggs that are, pasture raised, wild caught foods are much more healthy for you. So you got to clean up your diet, drink your water, and get away from those sugary vegetables. But again, if you're starting to have sugar problems, that means your pancreas is starting to wear out and it needs some help. And so what better way to do that, Dr. Stacy, than with X39, to start to repair the stem cells in that pancreas. So you put the X39 on, boom, it starts signaling the copper peptide to get to work. Boom, it signals stem cell activity. Stem cells are going, your pancreas is pretty screwed up from all your bad habits. Let's go there and start working. And then, of course, the Eon is going to help very much with that because your pancreas is inflamed. And the other thing too, when your blood sugar spikes, it messes with your thyroid, then it starts messing with your hormones, your IGF levels. It's just a tumble of hormonal and different things going on in the body. And so you got to get your diet under control, but then we start to repair and heal. And another patch that could be helpful with that, Dr. Stacy, would be the SB6, because it would help with the cravings, helping you when you're trying to transition from not eating those refined carbs that you're hooked on. It would be a great support patch for helping you to control those cravings because, it takes a while to get rid of cravings. But the good news is usually it doesn't take but about 6 weeks to break a habit and even a craving.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that thorough explanation. That helps because we all know that nutrition is the foundation, right? Proper lifestyle choices are going to be your best friend. And you mentioned that when we talked about the blue zones. I remember our first talk together where we did that, and that was fantastic. But there's practices, lifestyle choices that need to be made, and we can't expect a pill or a patch or a medicine to fix that. We really need to take ownership in our health, and so it's super important. So thank you for bringing that into it as well. So Dr. Stan, some people are wanting to know, how would you describe X49? I know you use X49, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so in comparison to 39, And, what are the benefits of using the two of them together?
Well, they both are basically elevating your copper peptide. One is going to be the GHK copper peptide. The other one is the AHK copper peptide, number one. Two different peptides, but they are stem cell activation patches. The primary benefit of the X49 is going to be performance and strength, muscle mass, and stamina. It supports also, though, a secondary benefit, which is, I think, helped me in my cardiovascular system. Once they did some more studies on this patch, they discovered that it would just help with cardiovascular health. It helps with cognitive function, as well as the muscle growth and recovery. Supports fat loss. So I think, the combination of everything that I was using, with a healthy, but you got, again, it's got to be done with a healthy diet and exercise program. You just, people sometimes say, well, I used this patch, I didn't lose any weight. I'm like, well, did you tune up your nutrition? Did you start drinking more water? Did you start exercising? It was shown to support bone health. So it's X49 is primarily what we would say a muscle, heart, brain, and skin patch, where X39 is a stem cell activation patch that activates those cells that duplicate and can go anywhere in the body and become what they need to become to heal and restore and rejuvenate.
Thank you, Dr. Stan. I appreciate that explanation as well. And you kind of touched on something I want you to go a little further with. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of water with patches, because people say, oh, I drink water, or they say, oh, I hate water. But 9 times out of 10, they're not drinking enough water, the required amount of water, or even putting things in their water so that they actually are hydrating on a cellular level. Can you touch on that, the importance of it?
Well, yes, the first and foremost important nutrient we put into our body every day is oxygen. And we know if we go about 3 or 4 minutes, no oxygen, boom, we're going to drop. And unless you're in cold water and in freezing temperatures, you're probably going to be dead pretty soon. But a lot of people don't really think about this, Dr. Stacy. The second most important ingredient in our body is water. It is what we're comprised of. You could probably say, depending on which organ we're in, average of 80% water. We're walking around, we're water. We're water beings, just like fruits and vegetables and things like that are mostly water or whatever. So you need to drink what you're made of the most, and that's water. Water is just so important to hydrate. Every system in the body depends on the lubrication and the nutrition of water. And when you are dehydrated, that is when you're going to start getting inflammation. Your body is not going to communicate on the biochemical level, on the bioelectrical levels. Everything is going to start getting dried up, just like a desert. And then the next thing you know, all the biology in your body is going to start drying up, and you're going to start having problems. So when you start hydrating, it's kind of like putting the motor oil back in your car. Everything's going to start picking up again and start moving and getting lubricated. And it's like I said, the second most important nutrient. And some people, there's different ways people decide how much water they should drink. When I went to school, they used to say something to us in health class: drink 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. I challenge most people, Dr. Stacy, if you want to try to drink a gallon a day, but to me, realistically, get those 8 to 10 glasses of water in a day, and I guarantee you it will change their life. Put those sodas away. If you want to drink a cup of coffee here or there, it's been proven coffee, if you drink it in moderation and don't add all the sugar and cream and the junk to it, a couple of cups a day, it's perfectly fine if it's black. And if you do want to put something in it, make sure it's whole food type stuff if you do. But you need to concentrate on that water and replace those beverages. And if you're drinking sodas and juices, you need to get off of them, because they are not helping your health at all.
No, not at all. Thank you. That's a very good explanation. So I want to go a little bit deeper. So some people are asking questions in regards to, if you were bit by a tick, and you had some type of symptoms like fatigue, or maybe neurological issues, or maybe different pain and inflammation in the body, and it's been going on for 7-8 years at least that you know of, in that situation, obviously that's complex. There are a lot of pieces and moving parts to that, and it doesn't look the same for any person. So what would you say to someone to help them kind of start their process? Because like you started slow, and then kind of what would that look like over, let's say, the first 90 days as they really started working into using these patches?
Well, if I had those symptoms in my life, I would definitely be on those three basic patches I've already discussed, the X39, Eon, and glutathione, because those symptoms are indications of high inflammation in the body, and it's an indication that you've got some invaders in there that need to be eradicated. So you've got to boost your immune system, get the inflammation out of the body while you're rebuilding and repairing with the X39. That's what I would start with in the first 90 days. I think that would, and doing, like we said, drinking your 8 to 10 glasses of water a day, cleaning up the diet. I would recommend some intermittent fasting to give your body some time to rest and repair, because if you're always digesting food, you'll never get into repair mode or detoxification mode. So many people, they never get into detoxifying. So that's why it's so important when you're struggling with any of those types of symptoms. You've got to get the inflammation out. You got to get your immune system up, but you've got to give it some time to repair. And so resting, intermittent fasting is a simple way to help with that. That's what I would do in the first 90 days for sure.
Perfect. And then, people want to know, like, how long is it going to take? Well, it's been 10 years. So what would you
I would say you need to do it at least 10 months before you would, 1 year for every year you had it as a good rule of thumb in repairing, if you're going to combine it with the lifestyle. I think you'll get great results in 10 months if you will use the patches and do what we tell you to do in conjunction with it. That's what I love about our company, Dr. Stacy, our founder, David Smith. He teaches us all the time to drink our water, to eat healthy, work with your body so the patches can work better. So if you would take 10 months of serious health and nutritional habits, drinking your water, getting off all the junk foods, intermittent fasting, and using those patches, I think in about 10 months, you would probably see some great results. And you could get it faster. I'm not saying you couldn't get some results in 10 weeks or 6 weeks or even 3 months. It may happen fast, but the rule of thumb is usually 1 month for every year you've had something, is the rule of thumb.
Got it. Thank you. Perfect. All right. So I'm getting a lot of questions about brain. We're not going to go into the actual things they're talking about, but to support all over brain health, which I know you talked about X39 and the studies with the brain, of course, already. But if you were to say your top 4 patches for brain health, anything to do with the brain, what would you recommend?
Well, we're always talking about, the trio, but I would add carnosine on top of that. That would be one that would be good for brain function. And I would highly recommend someone using the carnosine patch. It has been proved, improves cognitive function. And a lot of things that are going on in the brain have a lot to do with inflammation. It has a lot to do with, things that are blood circulation, everything is linked to that. And it's pretty amazing how, again, when you start cleaning up the diet and doing the lifestyle changes, and then you're using the patches, the carnosine can help to get the blood and the nutrients up there, but also to detox the brain. And the X39 has been shown to do that very same thing. So with those 4 patches, that would be what I would start with for sure.
Okay, so X39, Eon, glutathione, and carnosine.
Yes,
Okay.
that would be what I would start with. as far as that goes. I mean, there's other things we could add. I mean, we hadn't talked about energy enhancer, but obviously that increases mitochondrial function, ATP production, which can help speed with healing and recovery. I mean, if I was, we're talking about basic patches, but that one's kind of like another one that kind of puts the patches on steroids, so to speak. It helps to get the metal to the pedal to the metal faster when you're using some things like that. I would highly recommend that, as far as one of the patches. And of course, Alavita is a great patch that I would recommend for that. I mean, if I was really struggling with all that, I would be using all 5 of those patches. I would add the Alavita. It's a nighttime patch for the most part, but it's really going to also help with things going on in the brain. It will help you sleep better. If I put an Alavita on my head at night, I sleep like a baby. It just increases my production. But yeah, I would say carnosine, Alavita, and those 3 basic patches. If I was having some brain dysfunction, I'd be all over those 5 patches.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, I think we have time for a couple more questions. So when you're looking at gut health, all right, now obviously you've got your X39, your Eon, your glutathione, right? We know your immune system's housed in your gut for the most part. But when you look at like the liver and the intestines, looking at the organs in the, in the abdominal cavity there, what would you recommend for gut health? Because a lot of these problems stem from the gut. So on top of X39, glutathione, and Eon, what else would you recommend for gut health?
I mean, I would probably say go with carnosine for organ function. That helps with organ function all over the body. I would recommend that very highly. But when you have gut issues too, going to give some alternative advice here. You need to be cleaning up your diet big time, because if you have gut issues and digestive issues, it usually means your colon is clogged and it's full of mucus and full of trash that needs to be gotten out of your system. And so with the patches, you're supporting the repair and rejuvenation, but it's like if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same results over and over. So if you're putting in, junk food and refined foods and refined carbohydrates, eating, those fast foods, and you're not getting enough fiber, your water, Dr. Stacy, come on, the lower bowel has to have water to function. So that's so important to get your nutrition correct when you have some type of gut issue. I would also recommend using there's a lot of different probiotics, but the one that I recommend to people, particularly with gut issues, is a soil-based organism. And you can all you got to do is go online and put in soil-based probiotic. Those are your best ones for gut health. I would recommend adding that.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, real quick, eyes. They're asking about what patches benefit the eyes. And you mentioned your eyesight has improved.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's kind of like Alavita and carnosine are my two of my favorite patches for helping with organ function, brain function, and getting things straight up here along with the base patches that we're talking about. I mean, obviously the X39 is going to be one of the best patches you could ever use for something like that. But for cognitive function, I would definitely use Alavita and carnosine on top of those. I just love those 2 patches. I think Alavita is probably it's a close second most powerful patch that we have in our arsenal for people to use. We could just do a whole session on Alavita and all the different benefits, but Alavita and carnosine are two wonderful patches that I would highly recommend for that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Alavita, Dr. Harmon and I did a deep dive on 4 of the clinical studies, the brain study you referenced, the X39-49 study that you referenced, also the X39 study, right? The double-blind placebo, right, and the Alavita. We picked those 4 that you referenced tonight too. And that's on my YouTube channel if you want to go find that. But we have time for one more question. Dr. Stan, they're asking about anxiety, stress. There is a lot going on out there. It is crazy. We have no idea what's going to happen in our world, let alone here in the United States. And so people are stressed, they're worried, they're fearful. Can you give us some tips and suggestions, practices, patches to help with anxiety and stress?
Yeah, that's a big part of a lot of sickness and disease. I know that. I've experienced it myself personally. When you're going through stressful times, your immune system gets compromised. And when your immune system gets compromised, then you're more susceptible to those invaders that are coming at us every day of our life. So we do need to keep our stress levels under control. Of course, we recommend prayer and meditation. Prayer and meditation should be a part of your life. You shouldn't get up with an alarm clock. You should get up with prayer and meditation. You should ease into your day, not rush into your day. Jody will tell you, it doesn't matter what we're doing. If I've got to get up at 5 o'clock to do something, or I usually get up somewhere between 6 and 7, I have my morning routine. Prayer and meditation is a big part of that, because that's when you prepare for the day, what I call spiritually and mentally, emotionally, and you encourage yourself, whatever scriptures or books, music, there's no right or wrong way to pray and meditate. Pray and meditate, and learn to relax. And when you find yourself getting upset, you've got to find ways to detach yourself from whatever it is that you're going on. Because normally when we're upset, it's because when I get upset, I don't look at the other person or circumstances. The first thing I ask now, Dr. Stacy, is why am I upset? Why am I allowing this to disturb my peace? Because normally it's on me, not them, because I can't control what other people do, what other people say. I can't control the politicians. I can't control the banking system. That's why you probably shouldn't watch a lot of news. And if you're watching news, you're going to stay depressed. I watch enough to keep up. I don't want to be stupid. But if you're just sitting there at the TV for hours, you're going to get depressed. What is it you're reading? Who are the people you're hanging around with? If you're a bunch of gloom and doom and negative people that are always moaning, groaning, and bitching and complaining, those are not the people you need to be around. And taking time outs during the day, I remember when I had a job, when it would come break time, lunchtime, I had a prayer closet somewhere, either in that building somewhere I could get alone, or I go to my car and I would release and relax and let things go and recharge. But the Eon is our happy patch. It is what we call, I think it's Marcy calls it our lavender patch, because it's soothing and calming, to the body. It gets up into, it just helps us to calm things down, which is why the X39 will, obviously, we have the clinical studies on that. It's been proven that with consistent use, it's going to help you with those cognitive functions. So taking the patches are going to support, your habits of your nutritional habits, but learning how to deal with the stress and not allowing it to get under your skin. Because if you allow other people and circumstances control your life, you're never going to be happy, Dr. Stacy. No. I always tell people, create your world within this world. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things going on in this world, but I don't want to give it any attention, because I don't want it in my vortex. I don't want it in my spirit. And if you give something too much attention, then it's going to get in there. And it's going to start taking roots into you, and you're going to start getting upset, and next thing you know, you're mad over some political crap, that you've been watching, or some person at the office or family member, or something like that. And you just got to shake it off, and not allow those things to get in, and focus more on what it is that you're wanting. That's why you want to get de-stressed, get a purpose in life, join Lifewave, and spread this wonderful technology with people, purpose-driven people who get up in the morning with a mission, have something to accomplish, got something to do, and feel like they've got something valuable to share with the world. And people, you're not going to, yeah, you're going to have times where you hit walls and things, but that's what drives you every day, not what's out here. So being purpose driven, being part of the right community, the right people, that's why you should join Lifewave and get around the right people, because we're going to help you not only look good and feel good inside and out and add years to your life and life to your years. We're going to try to raise your consciousness up. We're going to try to raise your vibration up to where you're experiencing love and joy and peace, as well as happiness and abundance and prosperity and goodness, and around people that are rooting you on and cheering you on. That's how you get rid of stress in your life.
Very, very good answer. Absolutely. All right, we are over by 1 minute, but very quickly, they want to know, what is the name of that soil probiotic that you recommend?
Well, there's several ones that you can get. Dr. Axe has one, Ancient Nutrition. Him and Jordan Rubin have come together. Jordan Rubin has one with Garden of Life. He no longer owns Garden of Life. He sold it and he's working with Dr. Axe now, but they have a soil-based organism. Ancient Nutrition, Code Age has one. All you got to do, just go to Amazon, put in soil-based probiotic, and there's only a few out there.
Okay.
But those are, in my professional opinion, the very best ones to use.
Thank you. And then they want to know, where do you place your 3 patches? Your X39, your Eon, your glutathione. Where do you place them?
Well,
Besides on your body, anywhere.
most, I kind of rotate around. I mean, below my navel, behind my neck. Sometimes when I was the first 3 months working on my cardiovascular system, I used to literally put them up and down my chest,
Right.
Over top my cardiovascular system, my heart and everything like that. Sometimes I'll put glutathione over my liver, sometimes, and to me, you kind of go to intuitive patching. If you've got something going on in your body, maybe you need to shift it around and move it around. But I think moving it around kind of helps the body too, to not get used to certain things, like it's 12 on, 12 off. Move it around a little bit. It's not, you can put it anywhere, but I can tell you this, if you put aloe vera like up on your forehead or back here somewhere, you're going to feel it. It's kind of like the silent night's the same thing too. If you put silent night up here, you better get ready for a wild night of dreams, because you're going to do it. But I always put aloe vera on my head. Now, if I had some other issues going on, I might consider, C7 below or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, Dr. Stan, thank you so much for spending your time pouring into over 200 people this evening that came on here. I think we were close to 250 at one time, and you shared your knowledge, your wisdom, your expertise, and your personal experiences. So thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of our call tonight. I know everyone got so much value out of this. They're super excited in the chat. I was sifting and sorting through everything while you were talking. So I think we got pretty much all the questions answered. If for some reason you didn't get your questions answered, please get back with the person that invited you. They can help you, of course, get your questions answered specifically for you. And this recording will be on my YouTube channel in about 30 minutes. It takes a few minutes to get it converted on Zoom and a few more minutes to get it up on YouTube, so you can share that out. So thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, Dr. Stan. So grateful for you, and look forward to seeing you all next Tuesday. I will be interviewing Dr. Mario Lopez, who is a cardiologist. So we've got our 3 men in the house. So we're looking forward to that. So thank you all. Have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you soon.